This episode is proudly sponsored by Jetstar. Their Get On Board sale is on now with discounted fares to heaps of domestic and international destinations. But be quick, Bumpies, the sale ends 11:59pm Australian Eastern Standard Time, Monday, the 24th of August.
We would like to acknowledge the Bundjalung people, traditional custodians of this land where we record this podcast, and we pay our respects to elders past and present.
Hello, beautiful Bumpies. Welcome to Beyond the Bump, a podcast brought to you by Jay Coodwell and Sophie Pierce.
This podcast is targeted at mums-to-be, and women in general.
And gents, feel free to have a listen too.
It's a place to have real discussions and ask real questions, no matter how hard, with honest and authentic conversations that leave you feeling lighter, more supported and more understood after every listen.
We began as your go-to baby podcast and we're still right there with you in the thick of it. But now we're growing with you and your kids too.
From newborn chaos to raising tweens and teens, from identity shifts to perimenopause and everything in between. We're here to support the full ride of womanhood.
And as always, we can't promise that it will always be kept PG, so please be mindful around little ears. Here we go.
Hello, Jayde.
Hello, Sophie.
And hello, Jen. We've got Gen Muir here. We thought we were going to add an extra to the Bumpie Group Chat. Well, sometimes the group chats grow and, you know, we've subbed you in this week and then we'll ask you to leave the chat. The awkward thing where you're like, do you delete them from the chat or did you ask them to leave themselves? But we are in Sydney. We were in the studio anyway, recording a regular Beyond the Bump and Beyond the Chaos episode. So we thought we'd get you into the Bumpie Group Chat. How are you this week?
Well, I'm a little bit frazzled, as you know.
Which
you know
is
that
the way to have you.
I came in this morning. It's my husband Andy's birthday today.
Happy birthday, Andy.
He's a Leo, and that in itself, I don't know if anyone out there has a Leo husband, but I just feel like Leos are a little bit demanding.
I know nothing about star signs, but I feel like every year
like
I see it's Leo season and it's the whole month, and so I think I understand.
Think of a lion like it's got a mane and it's a proud animal, and it's kind of like, I don't care about my birthday, but actually I do.
Yeah. I'm going to say I don't care, but if you don't do what I was expecting, you're in trouble.
And I have the crazy fortune of having 4 boys, all born in July and August, and then a husband in August.
That's wild.
My youngest son is born on the 15th of August, and it's the same day as my mother-in-law, who's also a Leo. And the one thing she said to me when I was pregnant was she was like, don't have that baby on my birthday.
That's Leo
energy. Keep it in.
Yeah. But how funny are breeding windows? Because I've got a Jan-Feb breeding window and my husband's then, and it's after Christmas, and it's fucking exhausting.
It is. It's the, do you know what it is, I find? It's the, like, because it's not just the presents, like the logistics. You've got to get presents. You got to make sure it's fair and you get things they need and want and nobody needs anything and all that. But it's the emotional regulation.
Well said.
Of the emotions of the birthday. Your birthday has to be a happy day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I find it's like, oh God, you know, just as I come up for air, going into the next one 10 days later, and I've got to make sure that's a happy day, and it's the middle of winter, and it's sort of hard to throw parties and whatever as well. And it's kind of like, how do I make sure that whole day for that person, for that human, goes well? And I think it's important. Like, it's important that you wake up and there's presents and that an effort gets made, that you cook them pancakes, or I got my hubby croissants this morning, and I popped a confetti popper. So,
And you're like, now I'm done.
Yeah, you've done it.
Well, now I've got to cook chickens for dinner. And
Chickens. That sounds like you're actually cooking chickens.
No, I'm cooking. I am, because I have 4 giant children. And
oh my God, I thought you were going to say 4 chickens. Oh my God, I thought one of the pet chickens was going in the oven tonight.
So I'm cooking 3 chickens because I'm having over my husband's parents.
What's the reality of having 4? They're nearly all teenage boys.
Yeah,
because we're girl families. Jayde's only just cresting teenagehood.
Teenage girls eat a lot. I've heard.
I've actually started to notice.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Teenagers eat.
They
eat extra meals. Like they have dinner and then they have like a 9 o'clock second dinner. Yeah. It's a lot. So it's a lot of food, and it's blowing our minds. It's infinite. You can't. We feel like no matter how much protein we buy, like we go, okay, how much taco mince should we have? 2 kilos. And then even though you get that much.
And you're like, oh, we'll have leftovers. And then there's no leftovers.
And then they just eat it all.
Yeah. Wow.
But also they want, because kids these days, nobody wants a sandwich, right?
No. They don't like sandwiches.
They want to take in their,
thermos,
meatball, pasta to school, their thermos. And so they all want hot leftovers. Yeah, it's a lot.
Jayde is at the start of her teen journey, and she's been sharing with us, the Bumpies, all about like the unexpected parts. What do you feel has been the most, because it's not an area that's spoken about a lot, because obviously, I don't know, newborn, toddlers spoken about a lot. Tween and teens aren't. And our listeners don't get to hear much about boys.
Yeah, okay. Well, I can educate you. I can tell you, look, being subtle, what I can tell you is your hot water bill goes up exponentially.
Oh, wow.
Children that never wanted to bathe suddenly want to shower multiple times a day.
Claire's in the corner trying to cause herself pain so she doesn't laugh.
Her face. You've got a boy. It'll happen to you.
I found that surprising. I was like, oh my gosh, wow, that's his third shower today.
And so do you have any discussions, or is it just like...
Oh, I mean... You know me.
Do they know
There's
that
a lot
you
of
know?
They're like, can we stop discussing this?
I mean, because I really believe you have to have an ongoing and open conversation about everything, like whether it's vaping or masturbation or whatever, right? You're just kind of trying to be open, but also
racking up my water bills. Can you keep it to 2 a day?
But you'd rather it in the shower than anything else that needs cleaning.
Wouldn't it get sticky? And anyway, we don't need to go that hard.
Guys, I said let's keep it on.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying, I just think the shower is less awkward than the sock.
Went too far.
Sorry. I don't know.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it goes anywhere. But look, it's a busy household.
In the drain.
So that surprised me. It was just the moment you go, oh, my child is suddenly much more interested in showering, you know, and the showers are longer.
Yeah.
What else you asked?
What about vaping? How do you navigate that? Because Jayde did an ad about vaping and anti-vaping recently, and I was like, oh my God, that's another new age parenting thing that I hadn't even thought of.
Smoked in the old days. I feel like it's the same issue, isn't it, or not?
Yeah, but I feel like we pretended we enjoyed smoking so it kept a lid on it. Whereas I feel like vaping, because it's like grape and blackberry, and I feel like they might actually be enjoying it.
I am here. I think that Sophie's scared for me to talk because last we got a message in recently.
No, it's not about the message. It's also just like,
go on.
I know you've just been going through it and you didn't want to talk about it.
No, I'm not talking. I'm not talking about anything. I just wanted to say that someone wrote in saying that Friday episodes haven't been uplifting lately, and could we make that happen? And I'm like, I'm actually I got a lot on and I'm a bit depressed. So I'm sorry that that's what's happened. I can't flick a switch, unfortunately, but I can completely stop talking about it for a little bit. And what I wanted to say is on the conversation of vaping, there was a teacher. Can I actually read this out?
I actually found
phenomenal.
this so interesting. Tell us what you think.
Okay. I want to hear what you guys, I just only recently screenshot it, so it should be here. This is it. Hey, Jayde.
She's like, shush, I'm suppressing this down. Stop.
It's gone deep now. Hey, Jayde, sorry for DMing. Don't ever be sorry unless you're being nice. Unless you're being an arsehole. Yeah. I very rarely post publicly on things, but just had to reach out. Such a coincidence you posted this. I'm a high school teacher and we just looked at the Australian ads from the 90s versus the government anti-vaping adverts running now. Honestly, they need to bring back the same kind of ads they used with every cigarette is doing you damage campaign. 100% of my class, 16 to 17-year-olds, said if there were ads like the 90s ones about vaping, full scare tactics, gore and all.
Do you remember they were like the mouths?
I remember them, but it didn't work. I think the evidence actually showed it didn't work.
Well, I'll go on. It says they wouldn't touch them with a 10-foot pole. I told them I remember these ads, and when I was growing up, just coming out of field and hitting you with the message, pretty sure they were even aired during The Simpsons, and the kids made the point that they now probably have a trigger distress warning before showing them. So to quote one girl, PSA ads aren't allowed to scare anyone anymore because society's so soft now, and that is from the mouths of our teens. Yeah. And I agree in the sense that there is a difference between cigarette smoking and vaping because they're doing it on the bus. They're doing it in the school toilets.
You don't have to go behind the shed.
Yeah. Like wasn't as scary.
And then put Lynx Africa over yourself to pretend to mask it.
Yes.
But I think the overall messages that I got coming in is honestly show them what a popcorn lung or popcorn lungs is.
So I've looked at this, that the research around those frightening ads, and remember cigarette packets used to have literally like the cancerous lung on the packet. The evidence showed the human brain just blocks it out.
Is it because they're already addicted?
No, because you think, not me. Like the whole thing about youth is you don't believe it. Like when we show people like car crash ads of like speeding, blah, 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 people just go, yeah, but not me. And it's still speed. True. It doesn't actually change behaviour. How do we change behaviour? If you follow, and I'm having a mental blank about like the guy who's really good. I'll try and come back to me. But there's a guy that works with kids around all this stuff, smoking and drinking. And it's like kind of going, okay, so if you are going to do it, this is how you do it safely. And that's kind of the modern way. I don't know. I haven't seen the modern ads, but I
saw one on a bus
evidence
yesterday and it was like a text message conversation, but it was like trying to be cool lingo, like everything was abbreviated and using emojis and stuff, but it felt very like how we would think to be young people.
It was done by us.
Like I don't even know if they're using these emojis.
Young people just rolling their eyes.
Yeah, I kind of roll my eyes and I'm like, I'm nearly 35. And this isn't, but it was like first surf since quitting vape. And like the surf was the dude on the surfboard emoji. And then the vape was like, is there a vape emoji? It looked kind of like a vape emoji. And then it was like, how did it feel? I was like, no, I'm really sorry. Like, I don't think anyone is looking at that and being like, oh, sick, I'm going to give up now, you know? Yeah.
I think what has surprised me about my teenage boys, and they're not little angels that have never done nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Let's be honest. Yeah. Teenagers are born to experiment, go against our boundaries. That's why we have to have boundaries. They are learning, and how are they ever going to know what they like and don't like and know, I guess, grow into adults if they're not testing things?
Totally. And so my kids, we've been through it with little tests of the boundaries, but I think what I've found is like, I think we think it's going to be scarier than it is.
Yeah.
I've found that they're actually just like so lovely. I'm so enjoying raising teens, and we've had kids leap out a window and get into trouble, and we've had to go, okay, well, that's it, no more sleepovers.
Yeah.
You've demonstrated. But like overall, I've just found it to be, they're such great humans, and I think teenagers are less scary than what we think.
Oh, they're beautiful.
One of my friends who's a teacher has said this. She's just returned back to work and she's doing like casual teaching in high schools, and she's like, the best part about returning is I have been reminded how funny, how young teenagers are. Yeah. They're so funny. They're so young. Yeah, they're shits. But it's actually, she's like, I almost needed that because she's got younger kids, and she's like, society makes you so scared of teens. I was so worried about raising teens. But she's like, the minute I've gone back to work, they're exhausting. But she's like, far out. They're so fun and funny.
Do you know, I was at Bounce the other day. It was my 10-year-old's birthday party. We were at Bounce, and I was watching one of the, so they're all teenagers that work there, right?
Yeah.
And I was watching one of the teenagers.
Because they can bounce.
Yeah, literally. And this boy, and he's in a man's body, but he's a boy. And every time the kids were not on the trampoline, he'd just hop on and have a little jump. And he's doing all these flips. And my husband and I were watching him, and we were like, look at that kid. He's just a kid. And in a giant body, bouncing away at Bounce. You know?
I think this is what I forget. Like, you know, I look at my eldest daughter who's 13, and she's very mature for her age. She looks like she's got things together, but I keep on getting these big chunks of reminders that she, like, at the moment, she's going through this hormonal stage. She's like a baby giraffe.
Yes.
And I see this. I want to just hug her, because I'm like, you, in a lot of ways, have everything together, but your brain is nowhere near an adult brain. And I have to remember, like, you might see that boy at Bounce in the big body, but he's a kid. He's a kid.
Yeah.
And when you think about that, and then you realise, how that they're not to know. Like, they don't know. I think with the vaping thing, all I want to say on this is if I was a kid and I had anxiety, so I was too scared to take and touch anything because I thought I'd die. And maybe that's because my parents were like, don't do it. Or I saw them smoke and I was like, I hate that so much. I'm never doing it. Yeah, and I hated it.
My dad smoked a pipe and I didn't have my first cigarette till I was 21. But everyone I knew smoked.
Yeah.
Like everyone I knew smoked.
But I wonder if the difference on this is that it's easier to try a vape because it tastes like lollies and it's not a big deal than having a ciggy. It stinks. It's on you.
My experience with it, like year 9, let me tell you, year 9 is a tough year, okay?
Oh,
Whether
great.
you have a boy or a girl, year 9 is a big year. And I think most people will agree on that. And
I remember our school, we did like a different camp each term and stuff. I think they were just trying to keep us busy because they were like, they're not going to sit and listen anyway. So
year 9 boys test the edges, year 9 girls test the edges. It's like it's sort of, and I remember the first time I went through year 9, my eldest is now in year 11, I thought, oh God, this is it. I'm going to like, and there was vaping and there was drinking and there was jumping out windows and all this shit was happening. And I was like, oh my God. And there's this fear of like, we're going to lose them. And then they kind of come through it.
Come back. That's what I hear.
Then they just kind of get priorities, whatever it is. I think, there are things we can do. Like I think my son's into sport and he kind of cares a bit about academics. And so, it just sort of, the ship just righted. Yeah. So I feel like there's so much. I had this moment a little while ago. One of my nephews won some kind of award for drama, HSC drama, and he got to perform his play at the Seymour Centre in Sydney.
Oh, wow.
And it was amazing honour. But what blew me away, I'm in an audience with all year 12 HSC just finished boys, so a whole bunch of 17, 18-year-old boys. And the way these packs of boys and girls were whooping and cheering and supporting their mates or strangers who had put on these very dramatic little masterpieces, monologues, very creative, like not necessarily cool, all of it.
Yeah.
And everyone was there, so into it. And I thought, you know what, these kids are fine.
Yeah. This is High School Musical
well
come
said.
true.
Are these kids cool?
Yeah.
Do you know
The
what I mean?
Wildcats are in the crowd and they're cheering.
And just all different schools, public schools from all over New South Wales and private schools, and everybody was just there supporting each other. And I thought, God, you hear so many bad stories. It's not what I'm experiencing. And so like I'm aware of the fear and I'm aware of all the pressure. How do we get girls through without an eating disorder? How do we get boys through that are not misogynist? Like all that stuff, I get it. And at the same time, it's like, I reckon the kids are all right.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
I know we've got you here as person, Jen, but can I ask you one
go.
researcher side of things? What does the research say on like giving your kids a couple of drinks?
Yeah.
Or is it not?
So the research it says it's not a great idea.
Okay.
But what does parent Jen think? Now we're flipping back.
It's really tricky. It's a really tricky space to be in, and you've got to navigate it for you, for your kid, and sort of what's sort of happening in your family. But I do think that like it's one thing for your kids to creatively find a way to have a drink and like the message kids need to be given, it's not good for their brain while it's growing. We know that more now than we knew in our day. And actually, we don't need to do as much because in my experience, kids are not drinking as much. And
I've heard that.
They're just not as into it. They've got different priorities, right? So it's not as much of an issue. But you have to also at the same time, you don't want them completely hiding everything. It's better that it's better that I want to be an askable parent. I want to be the phone call if it goes wrong and my kid is vomiting somewhere. I want him to know I can come and get him.
Yeah.
So how do you walk that line? And it's tricky and it's messy. And I have found, you've had to sort of walk it bit by bit. So I try not to be the parent. It's fully illegal. I think you get charged. It's like $10,000 fine for providing alcohol to a minor. So
Is that new? Or was that around when we were teens? Because I was just going to say, speaking from my own personal experience, surely my parents can't be retrospectively fined, right?
God, no.
From a podcast.
No.
Even if you do give 2 or 4, the kids are still going to be resourceful to
that's
find
right.
the next 2 or 4. So, it's better, I think, to start almost at 0 than already be starting at 4.
I've got a pretty juicy story.
Yeah.
Yes,
come on.
We love juice.
You were holding back and you're ready.
I'm not holding back. I never hold back. So we had, I'm not going to say which kid or when it was, but we had a little New Year's Eve sort of gathering for one of my kids once. I will say he was in about year 9 at the time, and which is a tricky year. And he said, "Can I have a couple of friends over for a sleepover on New Year's Eve?" And I thought, "Yeah, I've got this." Now, one of the parents rang and said, "Can I send my son with 4 beers?" Because it's New Year's Eve, and we know where they're at, and and I said no, because my view is,
were they 4 beers to share amongst them, or for just him?
Or maybe it was a 6-pack. I can't remember the details. But my view is, whatever you send, it goes on top of the sauce. That's my view. I'm not an idiot.
Absolutely.
So the boys arrived. I searched all the bags. They were out shooting hoops. I searched their bags, made sure they had no alcohol on them, because that's like first thing. I'm not an idiot. It's not my first rodeo, right?
Yeah.
And I also chose to not drink myself that night. We were going up to our local bowling club. I knew I had 4 kind of potentially wayward teens. So I was like, I'm going to make sure that I am together enough. At 10 p.m, I drove them to Woolies, got them lollies. We brought them back. They were watching something on TV. We did midnight together. And after that, they had glow sticks on. They were shooting hoops. I went to bed about 12:30. And you know what? I gave myself a little pat on the back.
I did.
People said it couldn't be done. Look at this girl. She's got it. I had a really good night's sleep. Calm and happy in my bed. Woke up the next morning, walking my dog. There's a mum on my doorstep rapping on the front door, and I race home from the park. I could see her on the doorbell camera. I'm like, "Hey," and she's like, "I'm, let's call him Freddie's mum. I just had a police officer turn up at my doorstep and hand me my son's phone. It got left up in a park last night near some bottles of alcohol." And I was just like, oh, my God.
And you went to all that effort, and she would have thought, oh, God, you've just let them run ragged.
She didn't actually. That was what was really interesting. She was like, so she comes in. This is the funniest.
Everyone needs a few nights in a park.
Yeah.
I do
exactly.
believe.
So not endorsing it. This is the difference.
No, but you don't say, "I'll be deep asleep tonight. You should try and sneak out and go to the park." You just got to know there'll be a few parks. I go into the room where the children are, and this mum comes in with me, and again, let's just call him Freddie, and she just goes, "Freddie, get up." And this kid just do they look hungover?
Nah, they look fine because they're young. He sits up, but he's got a graze on his knee, and she goes, "Bit of a tough night last night, huh?" And he goes, "Oh," and she goes, "You're going home," and he goes, "I've got to find my phone," and she goes, "I've got your phone."
Go, Mum.
And then I just said to her, "I'm so sorry. I'm going to find out what happened from the other boys. You talk to Freddie. You find out what happened. We will chat." I just said to the 3 remaining boys, I go, "All right, everybody, get dressed. Come on out. I'm cooking bacon and egg rolls. We're going to have a chat. And there's 30 minutes on the clock before I tell your parents. So you get to come out and talk to me, let me know what happened, and then they're all getting a phone call. This is what's happening." They came out. The story was like one of them had sourced something from they go to a school where there's borders, got something off a border, had buried it in the park.
Oh, see, I'm almost impressed. I'm impressed.
They're
I'm
so clever.
Impressed.
They're so clever.
But they went to such effort for probably 3 beers between the 4 of them. They
had their fun. The kid Freddie let the team down because he grazed his knee and left his phone there.
He's out.
Freddie wouldn't have been able to leave that one down.
And then
left his phone.
But what was really interesting was the chat with my son after, and I said, I'm disappointed and all the stuff you say, and I said, I just don't understand. This must have been in planning 48 hours out, and he goes, "It was." And I said, "So when they were all saying, let's, as soon as your mum goes to bed, we'll all sneak out the window, and this is what we're going to do, and we're going to bury stuff up at the park, and blah, blah, blah." And I go, "Why didn't you say no?" And he goes, "Okay, Mum, put yourself in my shoes.
Yeah.
3 friends have this plan. They bury it like 48 hours out. They're fully pumped about it. And like you say, it was a couple of beers. What are you going to say?" "No, guys, I really want to do the right thing."
We need to get a solid 6 hours sleep.
"No, guys, that's not
Mum
a sensible
said no.
idea." But because one of the kids got sick, and that's why he left his phone. And
as in like
he was
vomiting.
Sick.
Yeah.
So
I thought
they
Freddie
brought him home.
tripped over
Freddie tripped over, and then
tree.
he was sick. So my son spent the whole night cleaning up his vomit in the bathroom and cleaning the bathroom. And there was Wet-X and Ajax and everything in there. Like he'd been cleaning all night. night, I said, would you have called me if you were worried like he was not needed attention? He's like, 100%, Mum, I would have come and got you. And it was kind of like that was the moment he then honestly didn't touch anything for like a year. It was sort of
I'm sorry, cleaning up your friend's vomit when you're scared your mum is going to find you is greater punishment than you could have ever done
So that's my story. And like, look, part of me was like, oh gosh, this is a bit scary. And part of me was also like, what an honour to have a healthy kid that's pushing a boundary that I can, and the punishment was, or the consequence was, we stopped doing sleepovers. From then, we still don't do them. So he's
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
How do you maintain that?
Because I think they offer a bit too much temptation.
I agree.
Teens. Yeah.
Okay, on that, I've had this.
And do you know what? How do I do it? I said, no. What do you think we should do as a result of this? What do you think? And he goes, I don't think you should let me have sleepovers.
Wow.
It's too hard to
So
say.
at yours or and at others?
Anywhere. Yep.
Yeah. And so we're not saying which one it is. Yeah. Is that just for the time being, or?
Well, like, again, it's about your kid and it's about what they're doing. I've got other kids that I'm like, mate, it would be a miracle if they jumped out a window ever. They're not going to ever do that. That's not the issue they've got. Our children are also different. For this particular kid who is very socially wired, he had self-identified, I can't really say no if everybody's doing it. So it's best if I come home at 10. And he's happy to do that.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think that this is where boundaries come back in and go, actually, I'm pretty sure if we just had that as a boundary, they have to surrender and go.
But also they're going to make mistakes. And I think much like when they're little kids, they're going to push the edges and you go, oh, okay. And what we said to him, we've got a dog called Poppy, and we go, you know when Poppy mucks up at the park? Sorry.
Poor Poppy.
What's her middle name? Pearl.
Anyway, we've got a dog called Pops, and we said to our son, we sort of said, okay, and he was like, guys, I'm so sorry. Like, he felt terrible. And I said, what do you think, when Poppy mucks up, we tighten the leash. That's kind of what's going to happen. And you earn trust. Like it's different with teens. Like they've got to have enough lead, but they've got to know where the edges are. And so they're going to push into that edge. That's what he did. And then the lead tightening was like, okay, what do you think we should do? He was just like, he was relieved to be like, yeah, no sleepovers. To be honest, it is easier. For me, in another household with a different kid that has different kind of edges.
No sleepovers.
Yeah. Well, we're no sleepovers at the moment, but my eldest is 8, but I don't really know when and if that will change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. There's ways to have sleepovers you guys go camping and you can sort of be around and kids can have fun experiences without doing sleepovers. Yeah.
We'll be back in a moment after this short break.
Okay, Bumpies, if you have been dreaming about a getaway...
When are we not?
Jetstar's Get On Board sale is officially live.
Oh, we are talking discounted fares all over the place. Sydney, the Gold Coast, Townsville, Perth, and if you're wanting to get those passports out, ladies, Japan, New Zealand, Bali, Thailand, and more.
Bali with kids, Jade. Thoughts?
Love it. Absolutely do it, because that's the beauty of it. When you are spending less on flights, you've still got money for the pool days and someone else cooking dinner, and that's the actual holiday.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole thing with Jetstar. Less on those flights means more for the food, the mocktails, the drinks, the activities, the shopping.
The kids club. No, seriously, the kids club.
But you do need to be quick. The sale ends 11:59 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time on Monday the 24th of August.
So Bumpies, grab the fares now and figure out the details later. It's basically self-care.
That is it. Take it from someone who just went to Tasmania on Jetstar for a kid-free weekend. So head to jetstar.com before the flights are gone.
Let's fly Jetstar. Now back to the show.
Oh,
now, we've got a few other funny stories, do we not?
Oh, yeah. Some Bumpies wrote in some crackers. So I don't want to talk about my bowel motions again on the podcast, but I opened up last week about how my romantic weekend in Hobart may have got hijacked by some diarrhea, let's be honest. And so we asked the Bumpies if they had had any first dates, romantic weekends, anything that got derailed. Do you guys have any?
I just feel so jealous, diarrhea or not, that you've had a romantic date, because I feel like it has just been so long.
Would you like me to hand you the baton? You can go away, but the thing is you have to go to the toilet 6 to 8 times a day. Yeah.
We're good.
But I got
I do have one, actually.
severe food poisoning we both got it on our honeymoon. We went to Morocco and
Oh, yep, that's where you
everyone,
get it.
yeah, everyone thought we were going to come back pregnant. And I'm like, the only thing I'm probably coming back with is a parasite because the only tag teaming we've been doing is on and off the toilet seat. And it was both of us in a hotel room. I remember Nick had the pillow between his legs and he was sweating so bad that the pillow was wet, soaked through.
That is
and it was
terrible.
that balance of like, I don't know, like I remember meeting this couple and I was working as a doctor at the time and they're like, oh, well, like, didn't you bring Zofran, Gastrostop? I was like, I brought nothing. I was so blinded by love and oh my gosh, nothing could ever touch us. Well, let me tell you, something touched us and it touched us good. I went down the first night in a tent in the middle of the desert.
Me too. In Morocco.
How cute.
Did you get sick in the tent too?
Yeah, and he sat up and had to and read. He had to sit up and read while I would go out, and then he'd dig a little hole for me to shit in. But before that happened,
see, we got the Lux tent that had the little ensuite bathroom
we're
leaves.
plebs. And then a day before that happened, I had to carry him on my back in the middle of the desert to a hospital, and the doctor had Ray-Ban aviators on, and he was like, "You got to go down the street to the chemist and get the drip thing." And I'm walking down. I'm like, "What the fuck am I doing? I don't even know where I am. I could be killed." So I go back. Anyway, I am no joke. Will never ever forget it. It was not that it was a fresh relationship-ish. I had to lift in. He was on the floor because the
True Bumpies have heard this one before, but everyone needs to hear
filled with
this.
blood and guts and gross stuff. I had to lift his ball sack up, diarrhea everywhere, flies going all around that area, and just like wipe his bum. And I'm like, I just looked up over his ball sack and I just said, "Hey, if we can get through this, I'm pretty sure we could get through anything." And it was the moment I'll never forget.
Do you know the night
am dying.
Yeah.
I am.
And I love that then you had 3 girls. Like, you've never had to lift the balls up again
but
to
only
wipe the
his.
bum. It was on the other
Sometimes I do
husband.
just for fun.
The night that Nick knew that he was like, this is the girl I need to marry, is we were down in like Gippsland Lakes.
Turns out we have heaps of stories.
Lakes entrance Meetung area. We'd been catching up with a whole group of his friends and we'd been playing, I think it's called Battleships at the pub, that you get like a pint glass in a jug and everyone has to add a little bit of beer. I'm not a beer drinker. Like, the person that sinks it then has to scull the cup. Anyway, that was not the first thing drunk. Everyone was absolutely shit-faced.
Yeah.
And he was down on this jetty just being like, I think, like, in order to continue, like, I'm going to have a tactical spew.
Yeah.
And he's like, otherwise I got to go home. And I'm like, oh, well, just make yourself spew.
I
Like,
know how to do that.
Like, trigger. Like, I'm sorry to anyone listening. Like, any hyperemesis mamas listening. Like, I'm so sorry if you've had to pull over.
Picture what it's like when my dog shits on the carpet.
I just need a picture brushing my teeth and I could.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, and he goes, I can't do that. And so I said, all right, hold on a minute, grab his jaw and just go,
Oh my God.
2 fingers into the back of the throat, get my fingers out, emptied the contents and continued on with the night. And he thought, if she can do that,
I can put 2 fingers in her.
And I'm pretty sure we were still romantic that night. And he's like, if she can do that and then still see me as like a potentially sexual suitor, she's the one for me. And we've been coming up to 10 years married this year.
Good on you. Do you know one I don't know if I should share, but I'm going to share it anyway.
Yeah,
It was...
See, Jen, you don't
As
want to
long
go
as
on a
it's
date.
upbeat. No.
Well, it's actually a little bit of a sad thing for me, but don't worry, you guys will laugh at me, not, with me.
As long as we're laughing at you, it's fine.
It's fine. You'll get a giggle out of it. Relax. So I don't know if I should say boyfriend because we're really going to just dissect who it is. Fuck him. I'm not with him anymore. All right. I had a boyfriend and it was very fresh. It was like the first
His
day.
name rhymed with no.
No, we won't go that far. Let's call him Freddie. Yeah.
Fucking Freddie.
All right. So I'm there sleeping over. It was not his house. It was a friend's house, right? Look, he did a little bit of a finger bang. And in the morning.
Now I feel like I'm with Amy. This is great.
And in the morning, I wake up, I look at my hand and I'm like, oh, and I look around, I'm like, oh, this doesn't look right. And then I look at his hand and I'm like, oh, okay, how do I get him to wash his hand without him looking? Because obviously my period has come without me. Yes, not poo.
I mean, with these stories, I've got to be a bit more specific.
Anyway, so he is really like not the most like, like he's a little bit like maybe like a germaphobe, I would have assumed by this stage. So I hold his hand and I go, hey, could you maybe do me a favour and just go and wash your hands? So immediately he looks at his hand. He's like, oh, yeah, no problem. He goes and pretty much bleaches his hand. He's in there for ages, right? Pretty sure he had a shower. He came back, took all the sheets off, the doona cover, while I'm sitting there thinking and feeling like I am the dirtiest piece of crap. I couldn't even believe it. I'm like, it's like I have seriously caused damage.
Yeah.
Like I have, but like that was unintentional. And I felt as a woman so guilty for it. So guilty.
Wrong.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you ditched that guy.
Yeah, after a few days, but that was it.
Anyway, some Bumpies wrote some in.
Yeah. It's not all about us.
Out both ends the night before our wedding, in hospital at 3 a.m. of wedding the day to try and stop it.
That's terrible. That's
oh
so
my God.
Unlucky.
Honeymoon, laughed while drinking Prosecco and ended up in the ED with a burnt esophagus.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
These are the dangers of drinking.
Yes, we should make an ad about that.
Lost a butt plug up there. Idiot.
Who on earth would that be?
Idiot. I pooed outside a van when we were travelling around Europe.
I can imagine you would have to.
Yeah.
Surely you had some rocky situations while travelling around too.
No, Nick had gastro and I booked him a service department to go into because I couldn't fathom another night.
Well, I went outside and just did it out. So I was really constipated and I needed to go. Anyway, my husband or boyfriend at the time, he opens the window in the morning. He goes, what the fuck? He goes, there's a bear shit outside. And I was like, because we had a friend with us, and he's like, Jay, did you have to get that close to the van? And I'm like,
it's dark and I didn't want to get eaten by an actual bear.
I was scared. I didn't want to get murdered.
I love this one because this reminds me of the Mojo Dojo Casa house in Barbie, you know, where they all sitting around playing the acoustic guitar. I was on a date and the chef sat down at our table and recited a 10-minute long poem. That's terrible. I would fake food poisoning and leave. That is actually my worst nightmare.
Or when someone comes with the violin and stands and stares at you, you're like, please don't do it.
It's an assault.
Yeah, it is.
I will say dates can be dangerous. I remember our first date after we'd had 2 under 2 and we went to a fancy restaurant. I got all dressed up, was like, okay, everything we've ever needed to discuss needs to be discussed in this hour and a half that we have. I don't even know what came up, but it was too big a conversation for the mental state we were both in. I'm crying at the table. I think it was Nick questioning career decisions, wanting to make these huge moves and life changes, and I'm just there I don't want to be in this dress. I don't want to have foundation on. I don't want to be talking about this. I just want to be there's just you got to be careful with date nights. You got to set some boundaries. You got to be we're not chatting logistics. No. We're not.
Especially when you got really young kids, and maybe you needed it more often.
And totally. Poor Megan, she needed a bit of boundaries. Her father-in-law called her husband 20 times just to chat during a date. Could you imagine? Also, maybe after the second one, don't pick up.
Also, why is that guy answering the phone 20 times?
That's
weird.
I got questions.
Oh, but they got married.
Yeah. Sorry, Megan. Husband snoring. Triggered. That's a trigger.
That's why I sleep with AirPods in.
Oh. Yeah, my mum does that too. But I just feel like
it just makes your ear hole so sore.
Yeah, I don't mind. I just do it in the one that's up.
Hey, does anyone? I talked about this years ago. This is the final topic of conversation. I want to know if anyone has any tips of how not to be scared at home overnight when your partner's away.
No tips, sorry.
I've got a good tip.
Yeah, please. Can I just? I'll do a quick little bit of context because my husband was just away for 5 days. Mm-hmm. And I was loving it in the way that it was just like nice to have the household on my terms. Like I just really knuckled down and I didn't want to have someone over every night or like sleeping over, and I could fall asleep fine. But then if one of the girls woke up overnight at like 2:30, I was like, what's that noise? This is the kind of time someone would intrude on the house and I would have terrible sleeps. And I want to get to that point that I'm like, the actual parenting and the life stuff is fine while he's away. It's the overnight stuff. And I'm like, I feel like a baby.
At this stage, I'm at a point in my life where I'm like, just come at me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care anymore. No, I know, I've got problems. But like, seriously, it's like I'm exhausted.
I relate to
I'm
that.
fucking exhausted.
Wait, tell me.
I think the reflection is like, were you scared at home alone as a kid? 'Cause
I was so scared to go to bed every single
Same.
night.
And I watched Friday the 13th when I was about
I watched
12.
Saw, yeah.
And there was a scene where someone's hiding under the bed and they put a drill up through someone's neck. Like, it's really scary.
Okay, that's true.
I checked under my bed beyond the years that I got married. From 12, I would still check under my bed every night.
Yeah.
Is that OCD?
No, I think it's just, I don't know. I think it's
A
just
habit.
a habit. And so I did. And then when we first had little kids, we moved to Brisbane and I knew my husband was going to be travelling, and I specifically rented an apartment up above the ground so that I would feel secure when he was not there. And then I just kind of like, how did I do it though? I'm trying to think. Now I just lock the doors and I just kind of go, I'm safe.
Yeah, because I lock the doors. I literally close our baby gates because I'm like, oh, well, if they're just coming to steal a car, like just stay downstairs, grab the keys, don't bother with the baby gate.
Maybe you should get like an alarm system for when.
Oh, that'd freak
just
me out.
downstairs. Yeah, but what if that goes off?
That's my worst
because
nightmare.
a bird or something. I'm not getting a dog purely for this reason. I'm sorry.
Oh, so our dog is, she barks. Like even if my son comes home late or my husband comes, my dog, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I do probably, maybe it's the dog.
I think it is
Maybe
the dog.
I haven't been scared since we got a dog.
Oh. And they are scary. Mine are like, whoa.
Yeah, same. Yeah, she sleeps just outside.
Is a cocker spaniel going to stop an intruder?
Yeah, but they can't see
dogs,
it.
Dogs, doesn't matter what size as long as they're protective.
What are we talking about?
Dogs.
Sorry, yeah, you're right.
Are your bunnies? Have they helped you against the intruders?
I have no tips or advice because
You want the intruder to come in?
no, I have panic disorder. I would freeze if I was alone and not be able to move. You know, when you get to that point.
Yep.
And
I do.
It's crippling. It's actually crippling. But that's also because I was too scared to be alone with my thoughts.
Yeah.
So I've done a bit of work there.
Yeah, see, I used to worry that people wouldn't know the difference between being asleep and being dead. And so if I went to sleep, someone would come in and like,
Put you in a
obviously,
coffin.
like I've been a doctor since then. I have pronounced people dead. I know what goes into someone being classed as dead. They're not just asleep. But so it's interesting, like that fear obviously is no longer my fear, but it's just turned into another fear.
My tips are prep in advance. So lock up the house earlier. Don't wait till 10 o'clock at night. Lock up the house earlier. Check under the beds earlier as you lock up while it's still daylight. And then say house is secure.
Yeah.
And just turn your mind off. Or sleep with the children all in your room.
Sometimes I find just sleeping in their room, I'm like,
you're
it's
there
less
and you're
to
like,
listen
I'm the
out
mama
for.
bird and I got this. And that's it.
If anyone else has any tips, please let us know and let me know that I'm not the only 35-year-old child still scared of nighttime.
When I was your age, which was over a decade ago.
Really?
Yeah, I'm 47. Yeah.
Wow.
I would have still been scared. I feel like now I'm like, it's like perimenopausal.
I will scare them.
I will take you.
Yeah.
They
with
will
my
regret
rage.
it.
But I also just want to give a shout out to the single parents out there
Totally.
because they perhaps didn't
And
choose to be
FIFO,
alone,
yeah.
and yet they are having to just
100%.
I've spoken to some people who were like, one of the hardest things of the separation was getting used to being at home alone at night.
The first
and it's
10
a part
years
that I don't
of
think
our parenting, my husband travelled every week for work, so
Yeah.
I had to learn.
Yeah.
And I stayed at home. I got married at 24, and I was like at home with my parents till I got married.
Yeah.
So it was like such a. I had to just learn how to be okay with being alone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think lock up early.
Yeah. Okay. I'll give it a go.
Yep.
Not that Nick's allowed on any trips for a while. All right. Have a good weekend, Bumpies.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Beyond the Bump. If you loved it, please leave us a review.
If you didn't, good on you. You can find more Beyond the Bump goodness and keep up to date by following us on TikTok, Instagram, and our Facebook group page. We'll leave the details in the show notes.
Until next time,
Bye-bye.
bye-bye.